Watch the game live in our past episodes on demand on the Pilipinas Live app for just 149 pesos a month, available for download on Google Play or the App Store.
Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Well, it was another explosive UAAP game day, and the men's basketball tournament continues to heat up. Joining us tonight to talk about the biggest gains from yesterday is UAP basketball analyst Coach Olsen Racela. Coach Olsen, thank you very much for joining us here today. I noticed the glasses kasi malayo yung papel mo. But let us now focus first on the games that happened yesterday, in particular that FEU against Adamson game. Because we were talking a bit before we went on air na ang sakit nito para sa Adamson because of, one, where they are in the standings, and of course, losing to an FEU team that has played well, but not necessarily the winning basketball that their crowd, their community expected.
Yeah, teams like Adamson and FEU, who are expected to be at the middle or bottom part of the standings, need every win that they can get. Of course, and I'm talking about those wins against those teams at the bottom of the standings. So that loss yesterday was a big blow to the cause of Adamson, who, of course, would want to get to that Final Four.
Coach Olsen, itong FEU, they were able to avoid what happened last season, right? 0-5 to start season 85. But then this time around, back-to-back wins. What were the adjustments that do you think they did in the past two games that gave them these wins for the Tamaraws?
Well, actually, even if they started 0-4, I felt that they were playing really well. So it was just a matter of time for them to get that first win. When they played against UP, it went to overtime. They went toe-to-toe against NU. There was only one loss, I think, that they should have won. It was against UE. UE came back to win that game. But generally, they really were playing really well, even if they were 0-4.
We have to talk about some of the individuals here for FEU in particular. Itong si Joric Bautista and LJ Gonzalez. LJ actually is one of the leaders in terms of statistical category, number 3 right now sa Liga. Just how important has his play been? Itong si LJ and of course si Joric, one of the better shooters sa Liga natin.
Well, LJ, let's start with LJ first. LJ Gonzalez really is the initiator of their offense. Everything starts with LJ Gonzalez. And he is, for a guard, he actually averages a lot, big in rebounds.
Yeah.
Right? So, and he is also their closer. So he initiates their offense, but in the end game, they look for LJ to produce points for them.
Actually, LJ is number 7 in the total rebounding of the UAAP this season.
Definitely the man to watch out for the FEU Tamaraws. Lipat tayo sa Adamson Soaring Falcons. A couple of guys also stepped up. Unfortunately, just lost by 3 points. Let's talk about Joshua Yero. And this guy, Cedric Manzano, has been really stepping up to the plate for Coach Nash Racela.
A lot of players have been playing well for them the past games. You have Montebon, played well, Erolon, okay? And then you mentioned Yero also. But I think the guy who's been really consistent for them is Cedric Manzano. He is their main post threat. And of course, without Los Temosa, they're really searching for that guy who can provide that score. And so far, it has been Cedric Manzano.
Ced Manzano, right now in terms of percentages and 2-pointers, number 8 siya sa UAP ngayon. But you take a look at the lack of individual, I guess, scoring punch here from Adamson. How difficult is it to find that type of player middle of the season? Kasi right now, parang wala eh. Wala so far in terms of like who could take over for this Adamson team.
That's one of the reasons why they're struggling, why they are 3-3. Because they're really looking for that role that Lastimosa plays for them. But right now, they still play their ball screen offense, but they go to Manzano a lot to settle down things for them. Their foreign student athlete is not like
Like a Malik Juf.
And not like Duanga from last season. He's just a role player. So having Cedric Manzano as their main post threat is a big deal for Adamson.
There's a game I don't want to talk about, Dip. Kaya ikaw na lang magsimula dito.
I know, it's still a bit painful, Pao. Pero
A bit?
yung next na pag-uusapan natin is UP versus LaSalle. You covered that game, Coach Olsen, with Boom, of course. 3-point win for the UP Fighting Maroons. And I want to talk about that third quarter. Again, Pao, pasintabi lang. Third quarter, LaSalle only scored 3 points. What happened in that third quarter, Coach Olsen?
Well, at the half, of course, in the first half, LaSalle really played really well.
Yeah.
They were up by, I think, 9 at the half. But a good adjustment by Coach Goldwyn at the half, making it more uncomfortable or really uncomfortable for LaSalle in the second half, which is why they had that big run, a 21-0 run for UP. But more than that, people when you look at runs like 21-0, people tend to look at that big 21. But as a coach, I look at that 0.
Yeah.
And it showed really how great a defensive team UP is. They really made LaSalle bleed for their points. They only scored 3 points in that third quarter.
And they lost by 3. And also a reminder, Coach, that as LaSallians are also looking at that 0. But you take a look at the fact that this UP team, when they adjusted, when they changed things around, some of the people, you go online, you talk to anyone who's been associated with the UAP, they look at what LaSalle did in the second half, and some of the combinations of players there, probably not the ideal situation for them. What did you not see from LaSalle in that second half?
Well, I did not see Evanelli play. Yun ang malaking bagay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very crucial. Evanelli plays 31 minutes. He averages 12 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. So big deal. And he's the leader of the team. So when a team makes a run, opponent makes a run, he comes down the team for De La Salle. And sometimes he creates things for them. But he was not there in the whole game.
And just to emphasize that, Coach, itong si Evanelli, number 4 in terms of minutes played this season out of all the teams. So not having him there really put LaSalle in a very weird situation.
Ngayon ko na napansin, kaya ka pala nag-blue today, Pao. Kasi
I'm not, look, I did not wear my green coat today kasi talo eh. Yan lang eh.
pahinga muna yung controller natin. Alright, let's talk about the UP Fighting Maroons. Hopefully, Evanelli can play in the second round matchup. But what about the UP Fighting Maroons, Coach Olsen? Still undefeated in the tournament so far. Do you see them, may isa pang laban this coming Sunday against Ateneo. Do you think it's possible for them to sweep this season with the way they're playing right now?
I mean, it's very possible, Dip, with the way they've been playing. Sabi nga kahapon dun sa report for UP, they're not really worried about teams. They're really worried about how they will play in every game that they will play. So it's very possible they can sweep. I'm sure Coach Goldwyn's not thinking about that. They're taking it one game at a time. But they're really a strong team this year.
Right here towards the tail end of the first round, we already have 3 teams already tied at 3-3. It's LaSalle, Adamson, and Ateneo. You take a look at that log jam and the difference rather that would, as we take a look at the standings there, what it would take to not be the bottom of that 3 between LaSalle, Adamson, and Ateneo. Just how fine are the margins here, Coach, between these 3 teams in the race for that Final Four as early as now?
It's very close. I mean, with one game left, Ateneo has a disadvantage because they haven't played UP yet. So that could be 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But in the UAP, every game counts. What I always tell teams, you treat it from the first game, treat it like the playoffs. There should be no letdown because every game is important, and sometimes one game or one loss could be the factor in for the season. So,
final weekend for round number 1 this coming weekend for the UAAP season 86. Your expectations, Coach Olsen, having covered multiple games so far, the first 6 of each team, any expectations natin coming this weekend for the rest of the teams?
Well, for this weekend, since it's going to be the last game of the elimination, it's all about positioning. For those teams in the middle, you would want to end the first round somewhere there at the top 4, of course. And those teams at the bottom, you would want to end the first round with a win so that you have momentum going to the second round. So for me, the weekend's all about positioning. Of course, you expect all of the teams to go for that win this weekend.
Right.
All right, Coach, we're not going to be done with you yet because we're now going to talk about the individuals when we return here. Enough about the standings muna. Medyo nasaktan ako when I saw the 3-3 yung LaSalle.
Bawi tayo sa individuals for LaSalle later. We've got more UAAP basketball because after the break, We'll find out Coach Olsen's picks for the biggest standouts so far in the first round of the men's basketball tournament. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to The Game. As we approach the final game day of round number 1, UAAP basketball analyst Coach Olsen Racela is still with us to give us his picks for the biggest standouts in the tournament so far. Coach Olsen, let's talk about the individuals this time. It's your personal picks. We want to find out, kami ni Paolo, ano ba yung personal criteria mo muna having chosen these guys in the UAAP?
Well, number one, their improvement from last season. And medyo biased ako eh. Actually, I chose 4 bigs and 1 guard. And most of them were not highly recruited from high school. Kaya parang ako nung high school.
Yeah, okay.
Kaya medyo biased ako dun sa mga picks.
Now, when you were saying bias, I was like, so bakit 4 na big? But we take a look at your list here, and I just want to remind everyone that this is Coach Olsen's picks because I'm looking at the statistical points also, and ibang-iba yung listahan. Like, for example, Nick Cabanero is not on your list.
Yeah.
But you do have a Cedric Manzano who we talked about earlier that we felt could be one of the guys that Adamson could turn into one of the go-to scorers.
Well, like I said, I'm basing it from last year's performance. And those players that have surprised me so far with the big leap from last year's performance. But you're right. All the MVP contenders, well, except for maybe Kevin Kiambao, are not there. And
Yeah.
I'll explain it in a while.
No, I like that. That's what I'm here for, controversy.
Yeah, Cedric Manzano is, we like controversy here.
Yeah.
Kaya nga sinasabi natin hindi associated sa UAAP stats itong pinili ni Coach Olsen. Ito si Cedric Manzano, you saw the numbers, 11 points per game, 7.5 rebounds per game, and we are hoping na he can lead Adamson nga in the next round for more wins. Lipat tayo sa isa pang big for the National University Bulldogs. Why Omar John, Coach Olsen?
Well, I felt that for NU to get to that next level, they need Omar John to step up his game. I mean, from last season, Omar John has been their anchor on defense. He's their rim protector. He's their rebounder. He's their basically a role player. But this season, he's added his offense to that. You know, he's been getting a lot of post passes, drop passes, and he's been finishing around the paint. So for him, I think that's one of the reasons why NU is playing really well right now. Number 2 in the standings is because of how Omar John is playing for NU.
You know, Omar John is one of the better two-point shooters here for the NU Bulldogs. In fact, he leads that category here, ahead of Jake Figueroa.
Yeah.
You take a look at let's move on to a team that we haven't talked about enough here in UST. Itong si Christian Manaytay. Bakit siya?
Well, they are 0-6, so you might be wondering why would I would choose a player with no wins so far for his team. But I like the way Christian Manayta has been playing this season. Aside from Nick Cabanero, he's the bright spot for UST this season. You can see he has improved a lot from last season, and I'm pretty sure he'll get better. His season averages are 14.5 points, 6.7 rebounds, so more than that. He has great footwork around the basket. He's strong to the left. Teams anticipate that, but he still finishes there with his left. So magaling. He's a bright future, Christian Manayta.
And he is a fighter. I remember seeing that blowout loss against UP. Noong fourth quarter, talagang tumatrabaho pa rin si Christian Manayta.
Right. He actually is the league leader in number of free throws attempted. So you know that he goes strong to the basket every time.
75% also from the free throw line. He receives a Richard Del Rosario stamp of approval pagdating sa free throws. But then apart from that, of course, hopefully more success for UST because they do have great talent, especially with Manaytay and Nick Cabanero leading the way for them.
And I wanted to ask Coach Olsen quickly, do you see a similarity between his game and Cedric Manzano? Pareho kasing bigso na left-handed eh.
Well, he actually reminds me of a guy who played during my time, not left-handed, but si Vic Pablo. Okay? He reminds me of Vic Pablo, but because of his footwork. Because of his footwork. But not so much Cedric Manzano because si Manaytay plays not on the post. He faces the basket.
Naabutan mo ba yan, si Vic Pablo?
Sabihin ko nga, buti kilala ko pa kay. Kasi sabi ni Coach Olsen panahon niya. So,
he's an assistant coach of FU, by the way.
Kasi batchmate ko yung anak niya.
Okay. I actually watched him play. Different story. But
I'll let you have this, Pao.
let's focus on KQ, Kevin Kiambao, who a lot of people are considering to be one of the top MVP candidates. And this is an unbiased take because statistically speaking, he is, and he's doing things. You talk about improvement from last season, definitely there.
Yeah. Like you said, he's been producing MVP numbers. 16.8 points per game, 9.7 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game. And he is a complete player. When you talk about the scouting report on Kevin Kiambao, sabihin agad yan, very, very smart player, and he makes the right decisions every time. But for this year, he has actually improved on his three-point shooting. He leads LaSalle in three-point attempts and three-point made. And that's one aspect of his game that really he has improved a lot, and he's helping him now.
Yeah, I just wish he had that last three-pointer. At least attempt, but no. Let's move on from that.
Move on tayo from KQ with a high basketball IQ. Let's go now to Ray Remogat. Not a lot of people know his story, Coach Olsen. He came from the FEU high school program. Can you tell us more about his rise here in the collegiate ranks?
Actually, si Ray Remogat, I was, of course, watching him sa FEU Diliman. But he played behind Joric Bautista and Penny Estacio. And same batch silang tatlo. So I was recruiting and I already had LJ Gonzalez and Royce Alforque. So I didn't need all three of them. So I had to get one. But si Ray Remogat tried out for other teams. He went to other teams before he went to UE. And but it just shows the resilience and hard work of this guy. And now showing dividends. Averaging 14 points, 6.3 assists, 5.7 rebounds. And I like the way he attacks the basket. His ability to create shots for himself and for his teammates.
Right, Coach, before we let you go here, you picked out 5 players that a lot of people might not have chosen, and based on yung criteria mo, I just wanted to ask, who here surprised you the most based on what we've seen here so far, and of course, your initial expectations mo?
Which one?
From your list.
My list? I'd have to go with Christian Manaytay. No one expected him. I mean, I was talking about players who were not highly recruited. Manaytay is one, Remogat is one, and Cedric Manzano is one. So Cedric Manzano came from Iloilo, passed up by UST and LaSalle before they ended up with Adamson. But Christian Manaytay surprised me because of the big improvement from last season. He's going to be the future of UST, and definitely, I think he's going to make it to the pros.
Well, Espana will be excited and waiting to see that happen. Coach Olsen, maraming salamat. We really appreciate your time here.
Salamat din.
I know you're going to see each other a lot more in the
Yep,
UAP
yep.
coverages, so best of luck with that. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Now, more stories after the break. Keep it here. You're watching The Game.
Welcome back to The Game. The confetti is long gone but history lives forever, which is why the Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas and the Philippine Basketball Association praised everyone that made the Gilas Championship in the Asian Games possible. In a statement, quote, the Samahang Basketball ng Pilipinas and the Philippine Basketball Association are celebrating with immense pride and joy the historic moment brought about by the landmark championship won by the Gilas Pilipinas men's team at the 19th Asian Games in Hangzhou, China 2023. The two boards also recognize the contributions that helped make the team and the win possible, citing the unqualified all-out support of SBP Chairman Emeritus Manny V. Pangilinan and SMC President and CEO Ramon S. Ang, whose individual and combined passion for the upliftment of Philippine basketball has motivated the entire team to aim high and never say die. End of quote. Thank you for joining us. I'm Dip Dipianco.
Catch us weeknights here on One News and on the Pilipinas Live app, where you can watch us live and our past episodes on demand for just 149 pesos a month. Available for download on Google Play or the App Store. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.